Hey, what's up YouTube? Welcome to another video by Ratchets and Wrenches, and today we're going to be replacing the driver's side CV axle on this 2006 Mitsubishi Outlander. Next step is to put the car in park or in gear if it's a standard, and apply our emergency parking brake. Okay, next step is going to be to raise this side of the car and support it on our jack stands. Okay. Okay, next we remove our lug nuts and remove the wheel. Okay, and now as to why I'm exactly replacing this CV joint. This car has started making the clicking noise when you go around turns, and upon further investigation, as you can see, this inner CV boot has got a big tear in it, and it's as it's spinning, it's spraying the grease that's inside of it. It has sprayed it all over the place, and probably mud and clay has gone in there and ruined the CV joint, so that's why we're replacing it. Okay, next we're going to remove this 17mm nut that's holding our outer tie rod in. Okay, and since these nuts don't have a cotter pin like most nuts that hold the outer tie rod in, and they're locking nuts, it's very good idea to replace these if you can. Okay, and now on how to get this thing out of there. Well, first we're going to spray some PV Blaster, or in my case freeze off, which does basically the same thing, right around here. I'm also going to spray some here on the axle nut because we're going to be getting this out in a couple minutes. Okay, what we're going to do next is actually I'm going to turn the wheels all the way to the right, so this part is sticking out so I have more swing room, and then we're going to hit this part and this part alone by a hammer. If you hit here or here, well, if you hit it here, you're going to ruin the threads, and if you hit it here, you're going to ruin the joint. So make sure you get it straight on here, and as you hit it, it's going to loosen things up, and this thing, you're going to be able to get this out. Okay. There we go. Okay, what I'm going to do next is actually remove my brake caliper. Since I'm going to be removing these two bolts and pulling this part out, I don't want to stretch the brake line and crack or damage it. You can also just remove this clip here, but I'm not taking any chances. It's only two bolts that hold this caliper in, so I'm just going to remove those two bolts and take this caliper out. Have ways of supporting this by bungee cords or something here, so it won't be dangling off this this brake line. Okay, before we remove our brake caliper though, I'm gonna just get a screwdriver in here and push these pistons back. This caliper looks like it has two pistons here and here, so it's gonna push a little bit at a time until it goes all the way back, so it makes reinstalling it a lot easier. Okay. Okay, that should be good. Okay, next we're going to remove these two 17mm bolts we got one on top and one on the bottom, and that should be all that's holding the caliper in. Okay. Here's one. Okay, this bottom one is on there really tight, plus there's no swing room down here, so I'm just going to use my air gun. There we go. Okay, now with our bungee cord in place and ready, we just get this out of here and rest it on top. Okay, and here's a look at our brakes, and they should slide out of here without much trouble. There we go. Okay, and here's the rear one. Still got meat on them, so but they're reaching their limits, that's for sure. Okay. Before we remove these two bolts, there's something else we need to remove, and that's this cable, these wires for this ABS sensor. I'm just going to loosen it to get it out of this metal bracket here, and then also back here there's a clip that's holding this in. So okay, and here's the clip that you're going to need to pop out of this one to get this out of here. Okay, next I'm going to take off this axle nut. This is going to require a 32mm socket, and if you don't have an air compressor and an air gun, You want to do this with the vehicle on the ground, with the wheel resting on the ground. You just want to remove your hubcap or your center cap, and then you'll have access through your center of your wheel to this axle nut. And then you get your socket on there with a pry bar, or you might need a longer pipe over your pry bar to give you more torque if this thing is on there pretty tight. So, but I have air, so it's gonna make my life easier. There's also a washer here. There we go. Okay, now we can remove these two bolts. They're gonna require a 19mm socket. I got my air gun on this side. It's gonna hold the nut in place at the other end with my ratchet resting against the rotor. Okay. There's the second one. Okay, I should be just able to just tap these bolts out of here. Okay, now with this part detached from our strut, we should be able to just press this out, you know, twist this and press this out. But I forgot to mention, if yours is stuck here, your CV joint is stuck in this steering knuckle, you can always, if you're replacing it, you can just hit it with a hammer, spray with some PV blaster, hit it a couple times, spray again, hit it, do it until you can get it out. But it's usually comes out without, after a couple of taps. But on this one, it was pretty, it was loose already. So just gonna twist and play with this until this comes out. Okay. In order to get this completely out, looks like I am going to need to use my hammer. There we go. There we go. Now we just gotta get it free from the transmission side, and this CV joint is out. Okay, in order to get it out from the transmission side, you want to make sure you got your catch band underneath here, because sometimes when you pull these out, the transmission fluid starts coming out, and basically you'll just need a pry bar and just need to pry it out. Okay. Okay, that took a bunch of tries, but I was finally able to use a pry bar and then my hammer at the end of it to get this loose. So be prepared. Now just pull this out, and you got transmission fluid coming out right away. So have your catch pan ready too. Okay. Okay, now we're ready to get this out of here. One thing to note is it's a lot easier to get this out from this side. I started getting out from this side because I already had the camera on my right, so that's why. But yeah, it's a lot easier to get it out from that side. Okay. But it will come out from this side as well. There we go. Okay, here's a look at our CV axle outside of the car, and all we have to do now is go to the auto parts store and get ourselves a new one. If your car has got a ABS, make sure you get a CV axle that's for that option. Okay. Okay, so just got back from the auto parts store, and just comparing our new CV axle to our old one, and this is like a perfect match. So we're gonna go ahead and throw that thing in. Okay, before we put this back on the car, it's a good idea to get to dab your finger in some transmission fluid and get it on this C-clip, because it'll make life easier. Also get it here so it slides in easy and doesn't damage the seal on the transmission. Okay. Okay, so when you go to put this in, you want to make sure you put it straight and you push it all the way in. I find the best way is to push it from once it's engaged. Once these splines are lined up, you push it from here. I find that makes it go in a lot easier. And when it clicks into place, you'll know you won't be able to pull it out by hand. That's how it's all the way in there. Okay. There we go. Yeah, it's better to try to get it to go in as straight as possible, and then you press here, pops in, and then you try to see if you can't get it out with your hand, and that means that C-clip is engaged and you're good to go. Okay. Okay, next we'll get in this side to the hub, into the hub, and it should also be pretty easy. we go. You can always just twist the rotor to line them up. And once that's in, we'll get it into, we attach it to our strut. And one. There's second. Okay, so I'm in a bit of a time crunch, so I'm not going to record the rest of this. I'm just going to cut back all the way to the end when it's time to put the axle nut in and show you how to torque that. And but a couple of pointers for people that are new to replacing this, replacing an axle. When you put your caliper back on, make sure you start the caliper bolts by hand. Do them one at a time. Start a little bit on top, then bottom, and the bottom. Make sure you're not cross threading them, and you get them both engaged before you start, tightening with your ratchet. Also, remember to replace that locking nut that goes on top of that, because these don't come with the cotter pins. So it's very important to replace that and make sure that never comes loose. Okay. Also, don't forget to get this wire for your ABS sensor back in here, and get that clip in there too, so it stays in place. Okay, so here's how you tighten your axle nut. Basically, get the wheel on the ground, put your lug nuts back on, tighten them down, and remove your hubcap or center cap, and get your socket on the axle nut, and then tighten it. And obviously, this is the same way you take it off if you don't have an air compressor and an air gun. Okay, so when you take it off, you probably are going to need a pry bar over that, because these axle nuts are on there pretty tight, and after a while they get even tighter. Okay. Oh, and also don't forget to put back whatever transmission fluid leaked out. Okay, and that's all there is to replacing your left front CV axle on your 2006 Mitsubishi Outlander. Okay, hope you guys liked this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, and if you have any comments or suggestions, please leave them below, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.